Hey, how you guys doing? It's been a while since I've done one of these types of videos. I think I didn't do one since October of last year. Yeah, so it's been a while. Reason being, I just want to jump into this easy style again. I got a bunch of figures recently in the mail, and they're all not the most exciting figures I've had in a while, but we're just gonna open some toys and we're gonna have some fun. I was looking through my Build-A-Figure bucket and realized, oh shit, I never finished Korg, huh? I gotta finish Cosmo too, right? We've got Ravager Thor from Love and Thunder and King Valkyrie from Love and Thunder. Still like both of these figures. They were just never immediate must-scraps for me because they were both 35 bucks at retail. I actually ended up picking up Valkyrie for $28 on Amazon, which is pretty good, but Thor was $36. And realizing it now, I probably could have just eBayed the arm, because honestly, I don't hate the look of this figure, but we'll have to see what it's like in person. Then you got Adam Warlock, who is everyone's favorite golden bastard. Kraglin, and Jesus Christ, they just... And I make it out like this is the figure I didn't want, but truthfully, I'm more than happy to put Kraglin on the shelf. Although I wish it was more this appearance than this one. But, you know, reuse totally works. And for shits and giggles, I got Potassius Peels. Because he might just be one of the last Fortnite figures that I ever buy, so... yeah, I figure why not? Just get a fun figure. Especially before they disappear off the face of the earth. Ooh. I've already decided I'm going to bust open Thor first because he is the least interesting of the group. Okay, so I had a little heart attack there. I already started ripping into the packaging and the camera just wasn't turning on and I was kind of freaking out. But you know what? Let's open toys. Thor wields the mighty Stormbreaker against a terrifying new foe. It's like they, you know, they asked Marvel, like, hey, what can you tell us about this new look for him? And they just said, oh, he has a hammer. It's like, didn't he have that hammer before? Yeah, but he's got to fight a new foe. Yeah, that's real pretty. Ooh. It's been a while since I've opened one of these boxes. That's super nice looking. These are the rights to your life here. These are the rights that you sign away whenever you buy one of these things. Be released from your prison, my sweet chariot. Got a Korg arm. Cool. And you know what? I'm going to be perfectly honest. This is not bad at all. I was expecting to not care about this, but surprisingly, it's not horrible. It's not amazing. It's pretty standard. Likeness does look a little pouty and more like kid-like than usual, but hey, it does look like Thor. I appreciate how dirty the hair looks too. That's a nice detailing. The jacket is also super soft, so you can take that off with no problem. And I do like the shirt. I think it's a really cool design. You can get some nice... oh yeah, crunch is not a problem for him. One of my favorite scenes from Love and Thunder is the opening scene against the weird owl aliens, so... well, he can't really quite do the splits as he did in that movie, but you can kind of get the thing going on there. That's pretty good crunch, I'd say. Forward, yeah. Backward, well, he's got a bit of a Thor ass, so you can't really do that. Arms are double jointed, so you know, you can do the, of course, tried and true. You can make him flex his frickin' guns, so that's good. Head actually has a surprisingly good amount of range. I mean, it's not amazing considering his hair, but yeah, it works. Up is completely out of the question, though. I mean, he's not... that's the most up you're getting out of him. And there he is wielding Stormbreaker, and I don't know if this is just me, but I actually genuinely feel like this is the best-looking Stormbreaker we've gotten. Just the nice blends of the darker paints and the silver. It just looks really good, as well as the... well, there's no shading on here in particular, but... I don't know, man. I think this might be the best-looking Stormbreaker. Or is it literally... hold on. And no, I was wrong. This is the one from the actual Thor from the Wave. It's got that kind of softer looking plastic, and there's no paint on it at all. But this one, what the hell, has paint. Why is this one better than this one? This comes from the same Wave. Couldn't you not have just put this in the same Thor pack? Yeah, this one's dumb. I don't know why they did that. This one is absolutely going in on my main Thor. Yeah, you can definitely give him that lumberjack look if you want. And I overall really do like this Thunder Strike sort of looking Thor. It's a really cool design. I don't think I actually really ever truly appreciated it Mostly because it's not in the movie for very long. It's really just for that opening scene. But I do really like it. Nice. There's some detail in the back. I would have not... I actually didn't know that. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I expected this one to be my least favorite out of the bunch. But here we are. I'm actually having a lot of fun with him. But here he is compared to his Love and Thunder suit. And I know a lot of people are going, ugh, Renzo, put it away. That's disgusting. But I like this suit. I know the eagle head is just too much and some people hate it. It is kind of ugly. This head doesn't look particularly good. But I still feel like he's still way too big compared to Jane. And I know Natalie Portman is tiny compared to Chris Hemsworth, but I still feel like this isn't accurate. And trust me, they probably look better in scale on camera than they do in person. She's freaking tiny in person. But this might be somewhat accurate? I don't know anymore. And for fun, there's the Endgame Thor alongside him. Really wish he had kept this design moving forward. The Fat Thor. I much prefer this look for Fat Thor. And here's Ravager Thor next to Amazing Friend Spider-Man. Obviously two very completely different styles, but it's a size comparison. Come on. Can I get an autograph? Do I know you, little shit? Next up, we've got Valkyrie, who... I've needed a Valkyrie on the shelf for a while. And just looking at the package, I can already say I like the eyes better on this Korg. They just actually pop through a lot more than the old Korg. But we're not talking about Korg. We're talking about Valkyrie. Very, very nice art. You know, I'm gonna be a bit of a beta male, and I'm gonna do this off camera just to save you guys some time. Oh man, and I can say right off the bat that this is a really, really nice figure. But she does have some issues I'm not a huge fan of. For one, these heels, they gotta go. It was hard enough to just get her to stand for that pose. I think I was behind here for a minute just trying to get them to stand. The problem is that they don't rock properly because they more so do this, which, I don't know. I just don't like them. Again, you'd think that because they're chunky, they'd be able to stand, but that's not true at all because you get her in a neutral pose, fat. Well, now she chooses to stand. But I was having some issues. You get the feet spread apart a little bit, you're going to be having some issues. But I like the aesthetic of this costume very much. I don't know how accurate it is to the movie. I've seen the movie a couple times, but I can't recall every single detail. It might be a little inaccurate color-wise. I seem to remember the movie being a bit more silver, maybe, but I don't know how true that is. But just like this... yeah, this is a cool design. And I didn't realize her hair went so far down. And I do like the little hints of blue. I wish there was more of that, because I do remember her having a lot more like blue braids in the movie. Again, that doesn't mean she can't look up at all, because she can't. But again, what were you expecting with this? It's not soft. I mean, it's soft-ish, but not as soft as this. The cape is actually pretty dang soft, which I really like this material. It's very, very thin and soft. But it doesn't mean it's going to be good for posing. Again, with that hair in the mix, I guess you can do that. But I'm almost tempted to try to see if I can find a cloth cape, because can you imagine her with a big old cloth? Yeah, that might look kind of cool, actually. Double jointed elbows for female figures is a must. Just make this a normal thing. Come on, this is very standard stuff, but it makes posing her so much more fun. And I actually really like the crunch. That's pretty good for a female figure. You don't really see that a lot. Mainly with comic book legends. You're starting to see it more with movie legends, but it's still not great. Not as good as it could be. But for a dumbbell, yeah, no, that's pretty great. By the by, this knife cannot, as far as I know, does not come out. That's just there for detail, which does suck. It would have been nice if she could it out. Like I said, she has no problem getting into poses. This is a pretty fun figure. I think it's the most limited with the head, but again, with this design, what else were you gonna do without it, like, ruining the look of the face? The likeness is also way better than I thought it was going to be. In pictures, it looked kind of dollish, like it didn't really look like her. It kind of looked like an exaggerated person, but you can definitely tell there's Tessa Thompson under there, which is pretty cool, actually. In the movie, she definitely has a lot more, like, mascara on. She definitely has a lot more makeup than even this, but I ain't got a problem with this. This looks good. It looks like Valkyrie, so I'm not mad. I think it fits. And there we have Valkyrie's sword, and I really like the texture that they used on that. How it kind of goes from a blue to a darker color. It's cool. Kind of wish it was just blue, like, the whole way around, but I like the look. You know, most of the times you won't even be able to tell. Like, it really depends on lighting, but the blue is so pretty, man. And I do really like the design of this sword. Also, yeah, no, this is also another good thing. If your figure has a sword, normalize vertical hinge, because you can get her in some much cooler poses like that. This seems too large. Oh, okay. That might be the main way to display him. But if I don't decide to keep this Thor around, I might end up swapping the arms on here, doing what Kasai did with his version of Thor, because, yeah, that's, actually looks surprisingly good on there. I did not think it would work as well as it does, but here we go. And here she is next to Mighty Thor. Thankfully, Mighty Thor is still a bit smaller, which, again, that feels accurate to what we see in the movie, but... And she's pretty formidable as Spider-Man. Oh! What? Ladies and gentlemen, we're officially in a good mood, okay? I came into this expecting to open 2 mediocre, okay figures, and then move into the stuff I actually cared about. But we started off decently strong, so I'm happy. And I think we're going to take a look at Kraglin first. No particular reason, I just feel like I'm a little bit more excited for Andrew. And, like, already, let's just put this box out of his misery. Look at his little fin sticking out there, that's cute. Hey, get out of here. We got in here some bits. Okay, we got a bit. And a bot. I believe, oh, what the hell? Oh, I almost forgot he came with a little knife. Sean. Speak to me, Sean. Holy shit. He is way taller than I thought he was gonna be. And there is some irksome things about this figure. But in general, just first initial thoughts, just overall, it is very nice to finally have Kraglin on the shelf. He's always been one of my favorite characters in the Guardians movies, so to get him here in figure form is nice. There's lots of reuse going on here from different Ravager parts. I think, you know, there's some Star-Lord parts. There is some Yondu parts, I believe, but I believe Yondu even uses parts from Star-Lord, so it gets a little muddled. He is very lanky, and again, that fits his character. You know, Kraglin is a very skinny dude, so this totally works. But he does have that kind of frumpy body, which is funny. When you look at it, it is very frumpy. I mean, this is just very strange. But it is what Sean Gunn kind of looks like, especially in this outfit. I actually really like what was done with the head sculpt here. I kept seeing it in renders, and it just didn't look right. But getting it in person, right here, yeah, it absolutely works. I even like how the skin here is like molded as if it was like shoved in there, which it was. So hey, I really like that. I've already seen Guardians 3 twice, and I still don't remember if he wears this exact outfit in the movie. I'm more used to like the shirt look that he has. I mentioned some problems with this figure earlier, and that mostly comes down to reuse. Now, I have no problem with reuse. If it works, it works. Go ahead. I do not care if the limbs are pinless or not. You gotta do, honestly, whatever you gotta do, and I usually don't have a problem with it. However, some of these limbs are starting to show their age, because they are gummy. Less so this. This is more what I'm talking about. Yeah, you can see that. I'm not applying very much pressure. It's just kind of going. I could see these legitimately just tearing one day. But let's be real, these are older limbs from 2014 maybe? So yeah, they've definitely shown their age. I mean, that don't look right, man. We definitely could have benefited from newer limbs. But he's also Kraglin, so I get why they didn't really want to do that. Range on them is still pretty good, though. I mean, nothing crazy, but it's double jointed range, so just like the design overall. It's very Ravager, very Yondu, but also very Kraglin. You know, it feels like Kraglin. The torso range is interesting because it's on a ball joint, but it really doesn't have very much movement. It barely crunches at all. That's about as far as you can get, I think. Yeah, that's as far as it can go. It can arc back a little bit, but again, that's as far. So it's pretty limited. As far as I know, this is a new torso piece, so you'd think that there'd be some better engineering there, but I don't know. Now, Kraglin does come with his arrow here, and I assume it is just straight reuse from Yondu, but it's a cool effect. It is a pretty cool effect, and it totally works for what they're going for. But a part of me kind of wants to use a bendy wire. Can you imagine if you had a bendy wire? I don't know how you would... It's a wire, so I don't know how that would look. But if you had this as a bendy wire, oh, you can get some really fun. Why are you... Is that why? Okay. It definitely is meant to feed through there, and then you kind of have it, like, sit at the end there, so that's all good. But it does kind of have a tendency to want to pop out, probably because of all the weight. I guess you can do that, and that's a little weird, but there's an implication of something there. I mean, truthfully, Kraglin didn't have good control over it, but I'm just imagining this, like, flying around his body, like, protecting him, because this arrow can go through pretty much goddamn anything at this point, as we found out. That's also a really neat look. Again, kind of hugs the body, but totally works. I like the idea that it just went, like... I guess he can hold it to... Oh, yeah, you don't want to go doing what I just did. Very, very soft piece of plastic, so warps very, very easily. But he also has a little freaking shanking knife, which, again, yeah, fits Kraglin pretty well, I'd say. I'm gonna gut you, Captain. I will say it's just nice to finally have Kraglin as a figure, regardless of what I actually think. I mean, it's not bad by any means, but there is some goofiness, there is some silliness here with the reused limbs and all that, so I can see that turning some people off, but it's not a bad figure. I can't genuinely complain about him. He does the job perfectly well, and it is also Kraglin. A lot of people probably don't care for him, but I really like Kraglin. I always have liked Kraglin, so it's nice to just get him on the shelf with the Guardians. It's going to be good to have him. Here he is with Thor. No, I'm just kidding. Here he is with Star-Lord, and I don't feel like this height is accurate. I don't remember him being particularly tall. Nebula, Mantis, Drax, Tiny Little Rocket, and Groot. And here he is with all of them. And this is a really, really solid wave. And in case you're wondering, I did do a black wash on all of the Guardians costumes to kind of bring out that detail a little bit more. I went a little hard in places, but I don't know, kind of makes them look a little bit better in my opinion. Spider-Man. Oh. Oh. Sorry, if I say Andrew instead of Adam, just know that the reason why I'm saying Andrew is an inside joke that has gone too far now, and I just believe his name is Andrew Warlock. I know it's not his name, but I can't help but call him Andrew Warlock. Same reason why I can't help but call The Rock Black Andrew, just because I think it's a funny name. So, cleanup's gonna be a lot of fun today. What is this magic? Andrew, release from your heavens. Oh. And let me tell you something. Photos of this guy does not do this guy justice. He is a really, really solid figure. Could be a bit beefier, especially in the arms. Adam Warlock in the movie is a frickin' tank. He's very large, so he's definitely slimmed down a bit, but the details of this costume are so cool. I love that skull. I really, really do like that skull. And the design of everything here, again, it might not be 100% accurate, but man, I don't even really care. I think this is still a really, really good representation. I think we've had a pretty consistent showing of likenesses, and this definitely captures his likeness pretty well. It's not dead on. I think the hair or something might be through. Oh, no, that's pretty good. I do like the, what is that, pink? There's like a pink wash to the hair. That's really interesting. It might not be pink, it might be something else, but I'm getting like hints of pink, and that is really, surprisingly looks really, really good. And the face is really, really nice looking. It is very cold, but definitely fits him for sure. I do have one nitpick right out of the gate here. I noticed a little mark on here on this shin, you know, you can see that there, and I thought it was just a little piece of schmutz, so I just went to scratch it off, and it actually scratched off that red paint. I didn't realize that was red paint I was scratching off, and it seems like I wasn't expecting that. I don't think I've really had like that sort of issue with this, but it might be the material of that. I'm not so certain, so just be careful with yours. Make sure that your knees don't scrape off right away. Because that is something that can happen, I guess. God damn, I was not expecting this cape to be as nice as it was, too. It is actually a softer material than I was expecting. Again, it is plastic cape, so, you know, it's not posable or anything, but it does still, you know, move out of the way. It is attached to the figure from... Oh, it's actually got a peg, it seems like, in there, and then it's connected to the shoulders pieces. I've actually noticed the shoulder on here seems to be disconnected. You can kind of see a disconnect there, where it's not on that other side, which I thought was very interesting. But I do like the design of this. I think it looks really, really smooth, and surprisingly, this is textured. It's a very simple texture, but if you feel this, just plastic, but if you feel along here, there's definitely some texturing there, which is very fascinating. Originally, I just planned to rip this right off, just cut it off, but now I might have to let it sit for a while. I don't know. This is better looking than I expected. It doesn't function well, but yeah, no, I'm tempted to just leave this as is because it's so just adds to the silhouette of the character. Though he does only have the cape for one scene in the movie, so get back here, squirrel. Honestly, my only real complaint with Adam is the paint chipping, but that's not even that bad. Just be careful, just don't scratch your nails, just don't be rough with him. And yeah, other than that though, he is a freaking... Did not think this Guardians wave was going to hit as well as it did, but I mean, I now own all of them. It's a pretty freaking great wave, all things considered. And what a great way to finish it off with a fantastic Adam Warlock figure. Zoom. Here's Andrew next to Mr. Lord. Bow, 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 bow. Here he is next to Squirrel, Stumpy, and Spidey. Let's finish with some good old peely fun. Or, excuse me, potassious peels. Ugh. For those wondering what I meant by last Fortnite figure, there's a good chance the Fortnite line might be dead. I mean, it seems like we haven't gotten a figure at least revealed since, like, last year, like summer of last year at this point, so it's getting pretty late in the year to hope for any more. As far as I'm aware, the line is basically dead, which sucks. I actually did really like the Fortnite line. Well, gee, Hasbro, you give Fortnite this yellow bullshit, but you don't even give Marvel Legends anything special. You just give them regular-ass cardboard. Assume this is the... Oh, it's the, I think this is a shotgun? Yeah, it's a double-barrel shotgun. The back bling, or cape, I guess, if you want to be a normal human being. And then this little dagger, which I believe is reuse from Menace. Is that his name? I don't know. It might be reuse. It might actually not be. I might have to go check. Be released from your eternal hell, my son. Oh. Okay, alright. I like what I see already. This guy is actually dope as hell. He's got a lot of really interesting surprises. First of all, I did not expect any torso articulation, especially considering this design. He's got a similar chest design to Menace, so I was expecting him to, or at least I was expecting it to get in the way of torso articulation, and it technically does, but this figure does something that Menace didn't do that I'm very, very happy about. First off, obviously there's no head articulation. I mean, I don't know what you guys were expecting. It's a banana. I mean, I guess a rotation would have been nice, but with how it's sculpted, I don't think that would have been possible. Well, I guess... Yeah, there would have had to be a cut there, and then that would have looked really unnatural. I love his pissed off face. I just love that he's perpetually mad at you. Well, I discovered something else first. These are on hinges, surprisingly. They're not the weird, like, circle dome things that we've been seeing. It's on actually a hinge. Which, for this design, considering there's nothing for the shoulder to really get in the way of, I don't mind that. I like it. It does get out of the way when you want to lift up the arms, which, you know, they can lift up perfectly well, so... I actually like that design philosophy. But this is what I want to show you guys, because this is insane, right? You see that? You got a little bit of a crunch, and how much crunch can you get? Well, again, with that torso piece in the way, not much. I mean, it really is just a molded piece of plastic to that, so there's barely any crunch. That's the crunch back, barely anything. That's the crunch forward. What I am not showing you guys is this. Now, that might not seem crazy, but considering this is in the way, yeah, that's pretty cool. He can do that, which is even more impressive. Holy shit. Yeah, he's got a dumbbell joint in there, which is awesome. This is the design engineering I liked about the original set of Fortnite figures. This is the smart, clever engineering that they've been doing. What the hell? Yeah, Uh-huh. But guess what? It gets even better. Because, yeah, it does. And, yes, it does. I'm overall really impressed with how the articulation is done on here. And it's nothing crazy. It's nothing like import level or anything. But it is still insanely impressive regardless. Obviously, there's like a Roman gladiator sort of vibe between both of them, but there's just some engineering designs that I think is done way better here on Peels than he was on Menace. One good example is this cloth doesn't really get out of the way. I mean, you can kind of cheese it, but he's not going to be getting any sitting poses or anything anytime soon. His torso was the main stipulation. He's got this big golden logo. It's actually even this, like, very similar plastic. Yeah, I think it's literally the exact same type of plastic. But he's got this big logo on here, which does inherently get in the way of torso articulation. Now, it is a open piece, which was a nice compromise, even though it's still... It moves, but then for some reason it shoots back, and I never understood why. There must be too much tension in there or something, because if that got out of the way, like normal joint, that would be just fine. There is a ball down here, but the articulation range it does give you is really nothing. I mean, it's there. It's definitely doing something, but... And look at this guy's 90-degree elbows. I mean, that's pretty bare bones. But coming back to Peels, he's sort of fixed a lot of those issues here. First of all, the actual torso piece here isn't soft at all, unlike the other one. It is just right there. So there is actually a hinge there, but that's about as good as you're going to get. There's not a lot of range in that torso at all. However, oh my god. And that, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, that is so much nicer. You can get him sitting. You can get him in a sitting pose, no freaking problem. It's so easy. And just as another fun side detail, this is the 90-degree bend on Peels. And they did double pinless legs for the legs. I don't know why that wasn't transferred to the arm. Oh, is it maybe because of the design of the shoulders here? Maybe. I have been having some minor trouble with the ankles. They don't seem to want to move up more than this. It almost seems like... Yeah, it almost seems like that little groove that's sculpted there is having some trouble with getting it farther than this. But he has had some trouble standing. Well, of course, he stands perfectly fine right now. But while filming this, he has fallen over quite a few times. And also that, too, which I've always really admired. This type of articulation, it helps even more get great poses. But he's not complete without this flat... I mean, he doesn't do anything aside from just... whoop. It actually kind of ties the back together a little bit. Hold on a second. Doesn't really show too much from the front, but why would it? I mean, it is just a dangly bit. But it is going to get in the way of articulation. Ooh. Maybe I spoke too soon. I mean, again, doesn't look particularly good, but it's not bad at all. It definitely fits the character, and looking at it from this angle, yeah, totally. That totally works. Peels got this double-barreled shotgun with this ornate golden details, and I really like that. I don't know what this gun is actually called, but I'm just going to call it a boomstick, because it'd be looking like a boomstick. It's a cool. I like the look of this thing. Also comes with this dagger, and I actually thought this was also reuse of Menace's dagger, but no, they are different daggers. Again, I keep associating them together, but I remember this one had some dings in it, and I was like, oh, this one might be the same. But no, they are, again, stylistically very, very different. And this one's longer, and I like this one a bit more. It's just more cartoony and up my alley. This one is a little bit more, I guess, well, slightly more realistic. Yeah, you could definitely do some damage on your internal organs there. I know he's not, like, amazing or anything, but I think it's just nice to have this as what might be my send-off Fortnite figure be a pretty damn good figure to pick up. Again, here he is next to Menace. I know they are very different figures, but there were some comparisons that I wanted to make between the two of them. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, one of my personal favorites, Mancake, and Ripley, who, fun fact, was actually my very first Fortnite figure. So, that's cool. And, of course, Spider-Man. Hey, you want to go get some banana splits?
Oh, God damn it, not again.
And last but not least, let's finish up with some bath parts. Yeah, no, that looks pretty... I just noticed there's no strap on this side. Interesting. I wonder if that's accurate. I didn't hear any pop, but... yeah, that seems on to me. Again, no pop. Very unsatisfying. I was kind of hoping for a... Oh yeah, and I guess he's got this too. There we go. Huh. First initial impressions of this Korg bath is pretty good, I gotta say. But yeah, I'm biased because I do really like the movie, and I do also really like this design too. I think this is a very nice Viking adventure Korg. I don't know what this is necessarily. I guess he's a goat tamer because he's got a big old goat belt there. Like a lot of the details, the leather details and everything on the actual body is all really, really well done. The pants are a little ugly, but I mean, I like the idea of it. Everything else is really good. I love all the details. And again, he's just a fun figure to handle. He's got great articulation. I mean, his arms can, well, yeah, he can straight up wave to you. And torso articulation's not half bad, all things considered. Yeah, he can crunch, he can arc. That's pretty good. Legs can go up. Oh. Big old double jointed legs can get pretty great range. And I also really like the way the eyes were done on this Korg. They actually look like eyes, which is what Korg looks like. He looks like he's got little eyes in there. It's way less like the old one, which kind of just went like black void. Well, there are eyes in there, but they're very, very faint and hard to see. I like the expression of the old one more, but I like this with the way they did the eyes and everything. And surprisingly, looking at both of them, I don't think there's any reuse between the two of them. Maybe the shoulders, but I don't think so. And the chests are completely different. Again, they do look different. They have a lot of differences. And I was expecting at least some parts to be reused, but the feet are new. The torso is all new. Well, actually, I could be wrong, but I think the hands are reused. And that... maybe. It's actually hard to tell. I actually genuinely can't tell. And yes, the weapons are the exact same piece, just repainted. I like the paint a lot more. Well, actually, I like the gold on this one more, but I like what they did with the gray on this. So, it would have been a nice middle ground to get kind of both of those colors, because this is a very nice gold. This is kind of a plain gold, but the gray, it adds a lot of character touch to it. But I will say, this is definitely accurate to a lot of scenes in Love and Thunder. They do make him look a lot more gray in the movie, but I think I prefer something of a mix with this Korg. I like the bluer Korg, and it's not entirely accurate, but I would have liked to see... Oh, calm down. I would have liked to see maybe a lighter version of this. Slightly lighter. This is just straight up gray. There's not a lot of detail, there's not a lot of shading or anything, but this almost seems too dark. So I would have liked a nice in-between, because he is bluish tint in Love and Thunder, but he's definitely gray. It's kind of like a Drax situation where I don't know which color he actually is anymore. Here he is with Thor and Spidey. Hey, dickhead. Peace off. Stop playing Fortnite. Okay, that's cringe. Let's stop. Turn off the video. When are you ever gonna actually do that? I think that's right, right? That looks right. Looks a bit goofy. No, I mean, there was a pop, but it wasn't very loud. I don't even know if the camera's gonna pick up on it. And this is indeed a good dog.
What the piss?
Now, don't get me wrong, she's a very large dog, perhaps a bit too large for regular 1/12 scale, but with how much they had to put on this bath, I'm surprised it's this small. Well, that's not true. I guess they've done smaller baths, but I actually like this. I like all the detail that they put into it, and it is pretty damn articulated, too. Again, okay, well, there goes Star. One of the biggest points for me is this torso articulation. It's not amazing when it comes to crunch. Well, actually, that's not bad. But, that's not the highlight. It is the side to side, which, again, really adds a lot of expression to the character. I mean, it is a dog, so you're going to have her doing a bunch of crazy dog poses. I mean, come on. You're going to have Cosmoing all over the place. Can you get the downward dog? You can get the downward dog. That's a downward dog. The tail is on a hinge joint, so that, again, also really helps with expression. You can have a tail going down, or you can have it up, or you can have it waving side to side. You can do a lot of fun stuff with it. Cosmo's head is on a ball joint, but when this is on, it's a little hard to... Well, actually, no, you can get it. The posing isn't great. A lot of looking up, which, again, Cosmo will be doing, but granted, Cosmo's pretty tall, so maybe some looking down is in order. Oh, oh. Hinge joint and a hinge joint. Ooh, yeah. And then also another hinge joint, but it also acts as a ankle rocker. That's so cute. And she's got little tiny little peg holes in the feet. Oh, she's so cute. Articulation is so good. Look at her. You can make her stand up. You make her party like it's 1969 or whatever year she said she got sent into space. The eyes on the figure are a little bit goofy. I'm not sure if I really like this cartoony, like, eyes. They're a little silly. And I also don't really care about the actual color that they went with. And also, this being painted a different color, shouldn't have done that. I mean, Cosmo is just one color. It honestly would have been less effort for them to even paint that bit. So I think it would have looked better just all orange. Come on, just to really put into perspective how large she is. I mean, there we go. Here she is next to Groot, Rocket, Nebula, Mantis, Drax, and I feel like most importantly, Kraglin.
Tell Cosmo's good dog.
Piss off, rat! And lastly, Spider-Man.
Who's a good doggy?
In conclusion, I think today was a pretty good played. No, that's not my thing. These was a group of figures that I thought was just going to be okay. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, I definitely heard good things about Adam. It definitely helped that I really liked him in the movie. I thought he was a very enjoyable character, and seeing him get a good figure definitely helps with my enjoyment of him. There's some things that I wish were tweaked here and there, but overall, yeah, it's great to have him on the shelf. While Kraglin isn't the greatest figure ever, it's Kraglin. Either you want him or you don't. And I really wanted Kraglin, so I am perfectly happy having him on the shelf in any way, shape, or form. And I think out of the entire group, Ravager Thor might be my least favorite. Nothing personally against him, it's just a very short-lasting look from the movie. And I don't hate it, but at the same time, it's not exactly something I necessarily needed on the shelf. And I knew I was going to like Valkyrie for a while. I knew. I didn't want to justify spending $35 on her. But getting her on sale really, really helped sweeten the purchase. My biggest grievance with her are the heels. That's it. Other than that, I really have no issues with her whatsoever. And Potassius Peels may just be one of my last Fortnite figures. And if he is one of my last, I gotta say he really knocked it out of the park. And it goes to show that even in their last few waves, they were still doing some good stuff. I just wasn't aware of it. But if you are curious about my thoughts on the Fortnite line, Kasai and I did a live stream a while back just talking about our favorite figures. I recommend going to check that out. I really like this look for Korg, so I am very, very happy to finally have finished him. And I'm sure not everyone's as stoked about Cosmo, but what you gotta realize is now you have essentially an entire full display of most of the characters from Guardians 3. Yes, we are still missing High Evolutionary and Gamora, but aside from them though, we basically got the entire group of characters that you want. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, why isn't Groot the Baff? And to a certain extent I agree, but when were we ever going to get Cosmo outside of that? That's a lot of figures, and it's a lot I want to talk about for a while. I mean, I want to do more of these videos, and don't worry, I still am working on regular reviews, like the crazy high-edited, meme-filled ones. You know, my thought process is make these lesser review, like these first impressions reviews, get those out there so I can talk about something quicker, maybe something that's not as important to me, maybe something that I can't really think of a story for. That's sort of my idea here. Let me know what you think about the green background. I don't know if I'm feeling it. I feel like the blue background was a bit nicer on the eyes, so I might end up going back to that. I just figured I'd switch it up for a video. With that being said, thank you everyone for watching, and I will see y'all as soon as I can. Goodbye.